I have the privilege of representing this community over the last 10 years federally. You know, if there's a silver lining in all of this is that we are more unified than ever before, and Canada is stronger than ever before. In my opinion, Mark Carney, our Prime Minister and leader of the Liberal Party, is the best person to take on Donald Trump. We need a plan for a two-state solution to bring peace, to bring stability. We even take the West Bank and the really illegal occupations of those settlements areas, and that all only drives a bigger rift between people. So we need that to stop. Well, I'm 58 years old. I'm a former Olympian. I have a family, twin boys, and my wife. My wife is the city councillor here in Mississauga East, Ward 3 here in Mississauga. And what can I tell you? I have the privilege of representing this community over the last 10 years federally. I also represented this community as a member of provincial parliament for 8 years and was Minister of Labour and Minister of Tourism here in Ontario. Yeah, it's really the privilege of my life, and I'm sure many of my colleagues, to be able to represent their communities. In my case, the community of Mississauga East, Cooksville. We're a very diverse community, so there are many important issues to everyone. But the main thing is that we all come together and we have the same values, and those values are Canadian values, values of being able to work together, live in peace and harmony, be able to work hard and make a better life for ourselves and our families. So all of those are the type of issues that I bring to Parliament on a daily basis. I do chair the Finance Committee in Ottawa, so a lot of it is about numbers and about budgets. But those numbers really come to life with the stories that we hear here in our community on the road. So how it's affecting a family, you know, that has kids in school, or a family with senior parents that are in need of long-term care or in need of more health resources. All of these are stories that are shared at the door, and now those are the most important things that I do as a parliamentarian. Yeah, so you know, it's a wide variety of things that we hear, but I have to say, if you look at the top issues right now, it's how Canada is being affected by Donald Trump and the Trump administration, and the threats on Canada. It's unheard of, you know, to have a neighbor country, the United States, really attack Canada economically, attack Canada in many other ways, disrespecting Canada. So I hear about this. You know, if there's a silver lining in all of this is that we are more unified than ever before, and Canada is stronger than ever before. So what Canadians are telling me, they're looking for leadership here in Mississauga, of course, in Ontario, in Canada, to be able to take on Donald Trump and the Americans in terms of what they're trying to do to Canada, trying to hurt Canada. And I think, you know, in my opinion, Mark Carney, our Prime Minister and the leader of the Liberal Party, is the best person to take on Donald Trump. And this affects other things that people are talking about. You know, people talk about day-to-day issues, you know, affordability, cost of food, cost of housing, etc. But the way that Donald Trump's attack, that affects all of this, and people understand that. So the main thing is to address and to be able to have a strategy, have a plan to push back on Donald Trump and address this crisis. Well, first, let me say it is, you know, it's very tragic and sad to see how many people have been hurt, killed, affected there in Gaza, but right across, you know, the Middle East and across the world, because this affects people right here in my community of Mississauga East, Cooksville, that have extended family or relations, and also that have a tremendous love for that region, for Palestine, for Gaza, etc. Since the beginning, I have stood stood up in Parliament to call for, of course, a ceasefire, also to be able to provide humanitarian aid to those that have been affected. So many hundreds of thousands of people in Gaza that have been displaced that need our support and help. But in the end, what we really need is, we've had almost 80 years of conflict in that region. We need a plan for a two-state solution to bring peace, to bring stability, to bring a way that both the Palestinians and Israelis can live side by side in their own states. This is what we need. And we're getting, seeing what's happening, like we even take the West Bank and the really illegal occupations of those settlements areas, and that all only drives a bigger rift between people. So we need that to stop. We need to provide aid, and we need to bring stability and support back to Gaza and back to the region. My message to all the viewers, especially at this time, is to exercise your right to vote. We take for granted sometimes in Canada that we have this beautiful right to be able to vote in a democracy here in Canada. In many places in the world, this is not possible. As we've just talked about, places that are stricken by war and violence and difficult situations. So please, I implore everybody to get out, bring your kids. I remember the first time I went to a voting location. That was with my father. I was 5 years old. He brought me, he showed me how it works. And from then on, when I was able to vote, I became a voter. So be a voter here in Canada. I am asking for your support if you live in Mississauga East, Cooksville. I'm the Liberal candidate here. I'm Peter Fonseca, and it's been an honor and a privilege to be able to represent you in the House of Commons.